Hello, I'm joined today by Adam, and Adam's built a very impressive e-commerce business, and we've been working together for the last few months. And today we're going to dive into the biggest changes Adam's seen since working together. But
hmm
before we get into that, Adam, just as a by way of introduction, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to start a business in the first place?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, obviously my name's Adam. A bit about myself. I mean, I've worked lots of jobs in the past. So I've worked in a pet shop, worked as a lifeguard, worked in warehouses. I've always been attracted to businesses. I've always liked the idea of having my own time. It's always been a real key thing for me. I know you kind of feel similar as well in yourself. And from a very early age, I realized that not many people have autonomy over their time. And I thought, wow, life's very short. Why are we working for someone else? Not saying that's always a bad thing, but I want to work for me. So I've struggled in jobs. I struggled with a lot of jobs. I had a difficult time and I thought I need to set up a business so I can look after myself, my family, my own time, and actually feel like I'm creating and building something and not feel like I'm just working or consuming. Yeah.
So autonomy was important to you to feel like you're working for your own benefit was the main thing behind it.
100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, might just be my personality, but we're all free on this planet, and people need to do jobs. Stuff needs doing for a society to work. But I just never felt I was reaching my potential working in the jobs I was doing. Things felt slow. Go through all the tape. You want to kind of progress. Never have enough money. Houses cost more money these days, and you're like, well, I need a bit more money to kind of pay for stuff.
Yeah, 100%. So
Mm,
what gave you the confidence to go out and build a business? Because a lot of people have the same
mm,
feelings, not
mm,
necessarily loving their 9 to 5 job,
mm.
have a desire to build out their own business. But yeah, what gave you that confidence, you think, to get started?
Oh, good point. To be honest, I think it was a mixture of confidence and then concern. It was almost like a worry of the risk. There was a lot of risk of staying in a job. And that was probably the key factor more than confidence. I guess I've always had some confidence in my abilities and been able to evaluate and say I can't or can do this. Yeah, I think staying in a job when you've done it for so long as well, you see the risk. You're not gaining anything. You're never gaining any fulfillment, any joy, don't gain any money, don't gain any time. And it was the concern of continuing along that path was what actually propelled me. It was the energy I used to move forward.
Also, I'm sure the people that are out there who have built
Mm,
their own brand or are thinking about building their brand will resonate, and it definitely resonates with me. Like having
mm,
control, autonomy over your own direction in life.
yeah,
That comes from having a business a lot of the time.
yeah.
So you have that confidence to get started. So tell me a little bit about the type of business that you run, like how you source products,
hmm
how you decided about how to get into the business. Yeah, tell us a bit about the business that you run.
Ah, cool. That's a good question. So, I mean, the business I run is online business. We're a website. We sell products for a website. I guess like a lot of businesses these days, being online is really key to reaching a vast majority of customers. We primarily drop ship. It's not always got the best term. Not all people always react positively to the term drop shipping. So you could just use the term, I guess, direct from supplier
Mhm.
or direct to consumer. So yeah, we're basically I would class ourselves as a marketing and advertising platform. We market and advertise products for brands who have got £250,000 in stock in a warehouse. Why can't we sell it for them? Make them money. Obviously, we take our cut in the middle as well. They don't have to do anything. We just benefit them. That is primarily our business model. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? It gets kind of
Mm,
under the blanket term of drop shipping, but in reality, the actual benefit you bring to the market is the marketing
mm,
of the business and then
mhm,
making the sales, and then the customer service
mm.
as well. And we get those sales out there, and
Yeah.
then we benefit. So we're both in the same type of business.
Yeah.
We benefit from the sales that we generate. We
hmm
keep a cut of the money that we generate for those brands that we work with.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, what has been your favorite part so far of that business that you run?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Um, I think for me, genuinely, it'd be hard to pick out one. I have to narrow it down to two. I think the first one is seeing a customer who's genuinely loved our service. And they're like, oh, we never heard of you before. So obviously we've only been around a few years. Really glad we found you. Really happy with the product. Amazing service. I can't wait to buy from you again. knowing that you've impacted someone's shopping journey felt really nice because, we're all consumers in some sense and we're spending money. Why can't we improve that for them and actually make an enjoyable experience where they feel less stressed about the whole situation?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. It is so satisfying when you actually see the result of your work and helping somebody to
Mm,
solve a problem, no matter what it is, based on the product that you've delivered to them.
yeah.
Which is funny because, again, in the drop shipping world, online money space, people kind of forget that you're delivering products to a customer, and they
Yes.
type some things on the computer,
Yeah.
and money will come pouring out of the laptop screen.
Yeah.
Forget about the people on the other end. But actually, it's like the most satisfying part is knowing the impact that you've had on that customer.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would really kind of argue on when you're looking at like a business or creating a business is don't the numbers are important, but your primary focus should be on the customer. Because like you said, that's you're not just selling stuff. Like I say, we're a marketing and advertising platform, but we're improving people's lives down the line. We sell products to people's businesses. So their business gives them a livelihood. So if we give them a good product with good service, we've improved their livelihood as well. And I think it's just the way the world's going. We've all purchased stuff online before and it's turned up broken and you can't get hold of anyone. It can be very frustrating. And you just feel like they don't care about me. I'm just a number ticking a box. And we're kind of hoping to remove that through what we do.
Yeah, fantastic. So
Yeah.
helping customers out is a big thing for you, but
Mm.
what drives you? Let's help people get into the mind of Adam.
Yeah, yeah.
What drives you every single day, do
Mm.
you think? And it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to kind of dive into this, like beyond
Mm.
the surface level response. What
Mm.
do you think drives you every day to build a successful business?
Mm. You're right. It's a difficult one because you have to self-evaluate yourself, don't you? Like, why do I get up every day? We're all different. We all have a different focus. To be honest, James, I think in some sense, on a selfish level, I think it's self-satisfaction of my own life. I really enjoy creating and building stuff. I love it. I love building things and seeing people happy. And I know life isn't always about happiness and there's struggle and strife and you have to do. You have to go through difficult times. But I love that. I love building things and I've got a very short time on this earth, like all of us do. We're all gonna, leave this world one day, pass on to the next life, beautiful one, hopefully.
Mhm.
Why not make the most of what we have now and just learn to see what our limits are?
Mm.
Who could I become? And what's my limit? And go, and then look back and go, that's very interesting.
Mm.
I
So
think,
it's about seeing how far you can push yourself and what life can you build for yourself. And you're very aware of the fact that there's one life right now
yeah,
that you can focus on. So you want to make that the best you can possibly make it.
yeah, I think it's going to get into a deep chat, but like,
That's what we're
I
here
think,
for.
now, I believe there's one life in this physical life I'm living now. We'd have a long chat about, previous and past lives and where we move on to. Like, no one really knows. We're all kind of guessing. But I think if this is my one experience or it's one of my experiences, yeah, like I've never sat at home. We've all had those days where you feel a bit depressed or moody and you sit at home and you're just annoyed about things. You never feel good. It
Mm.
doesn't feel good. But if you go out and try something and you learn and you get feedback, positive or negative, it's part of living life, isn't it? It's just experiencing stuff. It's
100%.
part of being a human, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the chance that we've got to live. So
Yeah.
how does a business get you closer to that? Like building the life that you're really proud of and you're making the most of.
Mm.
How do you feel like the business facilitates that life?
It gives me flexibility over my time and my decisions. I then in turn can change where I focus my energy. So I can say, I don't know if like someone needs me or family or friend needs me, I can allocate a couple hours out of the day for them, not a problem. Um, yeah, it's complete autonomy, and I can make any decision I want. Really, obviously there are consequences to bad decisions, but the business just allows me to choose. Sometimes I take the morning off. I go out and do stuff and I work from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. Or sometimes I work 2 hours a day. I get to kind of choose where going on what my values are and what I think is important, where I
Mm.
should support that energy.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's interesting you don't jump straight to money or financial means because that's a lot of things that people go to. But it
Mm,
feels like autonomy is
mm.
bigger value at play, essentially that you're trying to build towards.
Yeah, 100%. Money gives you autonomy. to a degree, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll change my tune in the future, but I think sometimes when people crave physical stuff, they're just missing autonomy over their life. And once you get your autonomy, your cravings for things disappear. Like the new laptop, the new console, new phone. So what I have is fine. But money does help. It does give you autonomy. But I think that you get to a certain level of any kind of cash flow, I don't really need any more.
Mm.
I can go out, I can have lunch, I can treat people to lunch. I can kind of work when I want. Like, what else do you need, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But there is a certain barrier at which you've got to get past to get
Yeah.
to finances initially. But
Yeah. Yeah.
ultimately, money is a vehicle, right?
Mm,
It's an energy form that we can collect and generate in our life with the value we provide to others in
yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah.
And that gives us the more means, more resources to then give us that autonomy in our life, which ultimately is
Mm,
what we're striving for.
mm,
So you built that out with an e-commerce business, and super impressive. You got it yourself to get from zero to, when we first started working together, you mentioned about 50, 60K revenue
I
per month.
remember. Yeah.
And at that point, you then realized that, or tell me in your own words, you got yourself to 50, 60K a month. We've fast forwarded quite a bit in the journey, but to about 3 or 4 months ago,
Mhm,
when we started to get our heads together.
mm,
What were the kind of feelings that you were having in your business, and what were you thinking about? How could I get to the next level?
It's good. It's a good one. It's funny, like a quick point. It's funny how the feelings you have change month on month, because as the business grows, the problems or the benefits change. I think I was having two main feelings. One, we could do more. We're selling, some months we do 15K, some we do like 70K, for example. And then I just feel like we could do more. We're getting way more customers than we convert. So we could do more here. We could then help out my staff that work with me, help myself out. Second one was I was quite busy. I was starting to turn into an employee in my company. And then you get to a point where you're like, I love it and I love connecting with the customers, but I do need to take a step back because I'll miss, well, I won't have the energy. Like, energy management is really important for me. I won't have the energy to give to my staff or bigger tasks at hand.
Mm.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
Did you feel like you were ever losing control of what you were building it for in the first place? The autonomy.
Yeah, yeah, in some sense, yeah. I like the control, to be honest, James. I liked, no matter what was going on, I could sit in front of my laptop for 15 hours a day if I had to, and just work. And like, you do need to do that work at the beginning, but yeah, you get to a point, it's just like a spark hits you. You're like, why can't I go out for lunch today? Why can't I go to the gym this morning or do other stuff? And you realize, like, it's not selfish to have some form of balance of doing things you enjoy because they recuperate your energy when you go back. Yeah, I was kind of losing some of it. Yeah.
Losing that. So what did that look like day to day? So as a busy founder, you built a business that's doing
Mhm.
like, yeah, somewhere between 15 and 70K a month.
Mhm.
What did day to day look like while you were still running it yourself?
Yeah, so another good one. I mean, me, literally a desk like this,
Yeah.
me, laptop, phone, um, this, emails, phone, talking to customers, calling suppliers, um, just doing that all day. And then you just kind of like trying to process it all, plan it all out. People calling up saying they want to meet in person to go view, go view some products at the showroom. Like, absolutely. And you're looking at your diary, like, don't know if I can comfortably do that and then not feel worried about the business.
Mm.
That was it. Yeah.
And what was the problem with doing that all yourself? What feelings were you having? Any sense of burnout coming on, or I guess
Yeah.
what was the problem with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Massive sense of burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because typically customers will call you and tell you problems 50% of the time, and they'll tell you how unhappy they are. They'll go off on a tangent about something else that's going on. You're like, no, absolutely no problem, here to help, but it's tiring. Um, so sorry, like you asked, what was it? What was the question?
What were the thoughts and feelings? So
Mm,
what was the problem? Maybe you could have carried on, sat at the desk and phone in one hand, laptop in the other, running the
mm,
business like that, or
mm.
was there a problem with that situation?
Yeah, the biggest problem with that situation is that's not my main skill base. I The reason why I set up the business, and we kind of talked about previously, was because my skills are better elsewhere in building and creating. I can sometimes get frustrated if I'm sat down too long. So like 10-hour days in a chair is difficult, I can balance it out with the gym and so forth. But if it's 6 days a week consistently, it has a negative effect on me. I just need to kind of go out and do different things. It just wasn't, yeah, it's not my skill base, and it's a bottleneck because everything comes through me. So we can't expand. How can we reach 150, 200 grand a month with just me sat on the phone line? It's not going to work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it ties back to the whole point you started in the first place, which
Yeah.
was autonomy,
Yep.
but also to impact your life positively and to impact others. By
Mm.
having, and the more successful your business is,
Mm.
the more resources you have then to improve your life and to improve those around you.
Yeah.
So yeah, did it? I mean, how long did it take for it to become apparent that something needed to change?
Ooh, I think so. We started advertising really well in August. Do you mean how long it took, like whilst I was busy, or how long it took in my journey before I realised?
Whilst you were busy, so in that
Yeah.
period of time when you'd got sales coming in, you got
Mm.
validation that there's a market here,
Mm.
but your day to day was starting to look pretty full on,
Yeah, yeah,
beautifully, the phone down, the laptop,
yeah.
that kind of situation. How long were you in that mode for before you realised something needed to change?
Oh, that's a good question. I think didn't take long. Took about 3 weeks. Yeah, it took about 3 weeks, and you kind of get to the end of the third week, and you're thinking like, is this sustainable? Can I do this every week for the next couple years? And you go, no. And then you start thinking about hiring, and then you start to get these beliefs of lack of control because your business is your baby. You know how to treat people, and that's obviously takes down a different tangent of like, how do I tackle the next step? It didn't take long. It took about 3 weeks.
So 3 weeks is impressive in that you didn't kind of loiter for too long in that moment of doing everything yourself. Is that because it was genuinely tiring you out? Do you think you realised that you couldn't sustain it beyond 3 weeks?
Yeah, 100%. I think we went through phases. So we went through Christmas, and I dealt with Christmas all on my own, and it was super busy. And you hit January, and it gets really quiet. And, I don't need to hire someone. It takes a while to gain some data. And then you get the next month and you're busy and you're like, I could actually hire someone. And then the next month it's quiet again. So you can kind of go for these little cyclic moments. Once it started picking up again, I think around February, March, and it was consistent, I realized, I was like, this, because it's going to be year on year for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Like, actually, is this manageable? Yeah.
That's the
It's
time
not.
again.
Yeah,
It's not manageable.
No,
Yeah,
at all. Yeah.
for multiple reasons, as we'll get into it. So there was a turning point. You realised, I just can't keep doing this all on my own. I'm going to burn out, and the business is not going to get anywhere. You mentioned being a bottleneck.
Yeah.
So was there a moment? Was there a moment, the worst moment? Was there like a thing that snapped and thought, I just have to get some help in this situation, or was it more of a gradual thing?
I think it was a bit of both. I think it was gradual, and then I put it off because I can be quite like bullheaded.
Yeah.
And then there may have been a snapping point. I can't quite remember. It wouldn't surprise me if someone called up and they were complaining about something that's out of our control, like a delivery driver. They didn't like the no naming, no names, but a certain courier didn't deliver on the day they said they would. And you get to a point, now I'm thinking about it, I think that was my moment. You get to a point where you say, I want to help them, but like, this isn't what I'm in it for. To tell people that, that I'm really sorry, the delivery driver, I don't know how they run their operations. There might have been a reason why they couldn't make your address that day. All you can do is feedback, and you realize in that moment, I can't really do anything to solve this or make it better. All I can do is just, comfort the customer and say, we'll work on it. And I realize, like, again, this isn't what I'm here for. Like, I can think bigger and better. Marketing, campaigns, adverts, more customers, better customer service. But I can't do that if I'm in the weeds, as they say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It's only going to keep spinning the circle. You're working in the business, not on the business, and so nothing changes while you're in that motion. So, and that's when we started working together. I mean, I realized this. We had a few chats and realized you were still doing a lot on your own, and you were getting really busy. So we started working together, and I sort of laid out the plan of how we're going to tackle this and allow you to scale and take a step back from the day to day.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to us. What was the first thing that we did together?
I think the first thing we did together was some behind the scenes work on our processes, SOPs. This is a really key thing, and it's not I'm not always the best at it. SOPs, systems, and I know it's really important to a business. I'm pretty 100% that's the first thing we started working on, and it was laying out a system. So when I do employ someone, you can say, "Here's everything." If I'm away for a morning, I'm busy, I'm with a customer. They have that was my biggest bottleneck. I had to then think about how much documents I had to write up, and the videos and the work. As always, you have to do it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's intimidating thought at
yeah,
first, isn't it? You realize, okay, I've got to bring somebody on board, but when I bring them on board, they're not
mhm.
going to know what to do.
No,
So how do I get them to know what to do? I need to document how I do things.
yeah,
And then that's obviously a big task and you're running a business of that size already.
mm,
So yeah, that's exactly what we did. We put SOPs in place
yeah,
and then we could bring somebody on board.
hmm,
I think that was the next step was we realized that you can't keep doing it as efficient as it can be with an SOP.
yeah,
If you're still the one doing it, then you can't take a step back. So that
yeah.
was next, wasn't it? Hiring a VA.
It was 100%. And I think, to be honest, I think having your view, like outside of the company, who is quite unbiased view to say, no, look, you could hire someone to do this for you. Um, I think it took me it took that influence from you a little bit to help me. To go, oh, is that because I know you've set up your own successful ecom businesses as well? And I thought, oh, well, if James thinks it's viable, then yeah, let's give it a try. And then once we did it, and once you showed me all the work and the SOPs, and we got some hiring in place, I was like, oh, actually, this is happening. This feels real. I think as an entrepreneur, if you find this interesting, but I think as an entrepreneur, I don't know if there's always a perception of you're always confident. You always know what you're doing. You're always working hard. Like you go through phases of like pure confidence, like wow, I feel amazing, and then you start doubting yourself for a bit, and you forget to see that bigger vision. And sometimes you just need a little like jab in the
Mm.
right direction.
Yeah, just an external point of view,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Someone to prod you and say, look,
Mm,
this is the time to push or this is the time to pull back, depending on the situation. And
mm,
in your situation, it was definitely the time to push. You had the validation of the products,
yeah.
you had processes that were working and generating profit, but
Hmm.
we just didn't have that actually infrastructure in place or anything documented, so you couldn't
No,
hand it over.
no.
So was there anything from you that felt hesitant about getting a VA on board? Anything that held you back?
Yeah, I think it was one doing the work to get it done. Like I wasn't quite sure what we should start on first. Like what's the most important jobs? I think this is where we had a conversation. Like what could I offset first that's the best benefit and would give me the most time? Second was a little bit of a lack of control. And I know we've had this chat like previously before about like tying your identity to your business, and that can be quite negative sometimes.
Mm.
And actually, you can feel that control to look after it all, but actually, it needs to run as its own entity.
Mhm.
So that could I find someone I could trust to do the job? And then, like you say, we have those chats, and that's why you train. If someone's no good, you do go through the process of maybe letting them go
Yeah,
if it doesn't work out, which is a real shame. But yeah,
exactly. I think solo founders, right? It is like our babies when we build a business like this.
yeah, yeah.
So you then have to kind of come to an acceptance that although it's your baby, for it to grow,
Mm,
to give your baby the best care that it
mm.
deserves, we need to step back and not throttle it so much. Actually, it's quite similar to parenting in that you shouldn't over
It is actually.
mollycoddle a parent. So we can take this business to baby
Mm,
comparison as far as we like because there's very much similarities. So you viewed it as a baby; it was your first business.
yeah, yeah.
Was it hard for you then to let go? Did you say you had tied your identity to it initially?
Yeah, it was. It's a really good analogy, by the way, about the parenting.
Mm.
I'm not parent myself yet, but I think you're right. It's like having a baby and then saying, no, you can't have external friends. No, you can't go to school and have teachers teach you stuff. It's like a community societal thing, isn't it?
Mm.
And I'm not saying a business, it's like a person, but and you can treat it in that way. And you do need other influences. You need feedback from customers as well as business owners to be able to look at it from those kind of angles. It was difficult at the start. Once I hired someone, I was like, this is amazing. And then I very unluckily didn't have a very good hire on the first one, someone I hired myself. And it created such a tension in the business. And finally, let that person go so we could both find better options for us. It then you get those feelings of control come back again. You go, and you hesitate. And it's the moment to say, no, we need to keep pushing forward and find someone good. And when you do find someone good, it's like, oh, this is how it should have always been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That's it. That's it. Because you
Yeah.
can go wrong with hiring absolutely the wrong hire.
Hmm.
But then we started working together, and we realized that it wasn't hiring wasn't the problem, as in you needed to have somebody involved. It was the type of person, or whether they had the right infrastructure on board ready to go, may have been a contributing factor. But
Yeah.
some people just aren't the right fits for the company.
No, it's just life. Things happen. Their circumstances change. It's just is what it is. Like you have to build that resilience to constantly problem solve. Okay, it is what it is. This is how things need to be. Next one.
Move on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
more job adverts.
that's it. Got to be adaptable as a business owner. So,
Yeah.
but that thing about you, Adam, I could see from the start, you were very pro growth and look on the positive side. Even though we didn't have the best hire initially, when I came on board, we realized that we should probably move away from a hire that isn't adding to the company, and let's find a position, find somebody that will enhance it. So we put the SOPs in place, processes, documented how the business runs, had a VA on board to actually work with that. And that's how we did it. But more importantly and more excitingly for people listening is probably what impact that actually had day to day on the running of your business.
Huge. Like once you offset those tasks that are keeping you busy, you can then focus on the best high priority task. And I think they talk about this in the Brian Tracy book, Eat That Frog. And it's all about how to analyze your time, pick your top 5 priorities. We could just grow exponentially within a week. Like the difference was like within a week, we could see additional sales because VAs, and assistants are looking after the orders. I can then focus on our advertising, our marketing, customer feedback, what we could improve on. And you have less distractions. You can just focus solely on it. This is all I'm doing today. This is what, and I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much work you can get done if you can got focus time on something. Something that you tell yourself will take 2 days. Sometimes you can do it in like half an hour because you've got no distractions.
Yeah.
I found that.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? The headspace, the difference it makes when you've
Yeah.
got one thing on your agenda today rather than 10 different things,
Yeah.
which is the case. So I think people sometimes they think it's not directly revenue generating if you hire somebody. That's kind of an approach that some person might have. But my view of it is that it's upstream from revenue generation, because you can't actually do the revenue generating task if you have no time to do the revenue generating task.
Exactly.
It's almost, yeah. So if somebody came to you and said that I don't want to hire because it's not going to directly generate revenue, instead I should just put the same money into marketing, what would you say to that person?
I would say to that person, first off, look at your market, look at the size of your market. How much percentage of it do you have? And look at your conversion. How many of your customers are you converting? And like, just try and you can use data to make this decision, which is always a better move. But you can also just use your initiative to do that and have a look at actually, how many sales would I have to make to pay for this person that's doing the job? So if you sell high-end products like what we do, it's like 2 sales. And you're like, oh, I've got 28 to 30 days of a month. Could I generate 2 sales in that time? Like, yeah, I can normally do that in a couple of days. For us, we sell B2B, so we get a lot of leads in and then we have to follow up on. I would say look at the whole vision of what you could be and ask yourself, why aren't we that? Is it because it's not what you want? Or is it you're not allowing the business to grow to that point? And if you're seeing, well, actually, we can add an additional 300 grand a month onto our business, how much is that person going to cost you? Do you not think that's a good risk reward kind of analysis?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like, how much do you value your time,
Yeah.
and what would you put as your own hourly rate? And I did the maths on this recently for a YouTube video and worked out if you value yourself as, or if you want to make 100k profit a year in your business, your hourly rate is going to be about £50 an hour, depending on how many hours you work.
Yeah.
For that. And so if you want to be 100k a year business owner, 50 hours, £50 an hour for your work. If you spend 3 hours answering emails, you're essentially saying that's £150 worth of answering emails with your time.
Yeah.
If you hired somebody from the Philippines, which we'll get onto now, is where we hire people from, for that same 3 hours, you can spend what, £15 an hour and get the job done, arguably better by somebody who's a professional customer service.
Yes.
So that's it. It's like if you actually value yourself at that, it becomes a no-brainer to hire somebody.
Yeah. Well, once you lay it out, James, I completely agree. Once you lay out the pros and cons, like there is no other option. Like you say, if someone's, you're paying them, it takes £15 for them to do the job, but it costs you £150. Why would you not? Why would you not? And then they're not distracted by the stuff I'm distracted with, like talking to our suppliers, like talking to HMRC, dealing with the accountants, all of this other stuff. They can solely focus on the customer, which is better for them. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's just the best way.
100%. It's a better service that you're going to be giving to that
Mm,
customer ultimately, and you've got the headspace. So if you back yourself as a founder, you think, well, if I had an extra 4 hours a day,
mm,
I could probably make up the £500 a month, within a week.
yeah.
In how much more time you could put into focus things.
Mm,
It's massive. So right, we put VA on board. Number one,
mm-hmm,
SOPs in place.
mm-hmm.
Was there any moment that you thought, okay, this is actually working now? Maybe there was a time where you had more free time, or you saw customers looked after without you, or anything that made you think, right, we've hit the jackpot here. It's working.
Yeah, it was when I think we're like a week and a half into having the new VA, and they were starting to do really good work. Like, there's some really intelligent people out there you can hire, like, do an amazing job. They don't want their own business, they want to work for you, and they want to put their all into it. I remember messaging my VAs and saying, "Oh, have you dealt with this? You've dealt with that." And then this customer's looking for a swap on this one. And I was thinking in my head, like, how are we going to do all this stuff? And the response was, "Oh, yeah, I did that this morning." I was like, oh, that was the biggest realization. It was the first time someone's ever taken tasks off my hand. I went, wow. So I went and looked at their emails, checked it. They were actually better written than I would write because I'm rushing. And I thought, oh, actually, this could really work. This is actually better. And then I went through this process in my head, like, what do I do with my time now?
How do I fill the void? I suddenly got all this time and the business runs without me.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
do I
yeah.
do now with my time? We're not used to that. It's been so necessary. You're just full of
No.
filling your time up with constant tasks, and suddenly you had to then decide,
Yeah,
how do I deploy my time better?
exactly.
And how did you deploy your time better?
So we're going to go very focused on revenue generating tasks now. So I really went all in on our Google Ads campaign, and you've been helping me with this as well about what's the best way to scale our campaign. And I'm at a point now, every 2 weeks, I spend about 10 minutes on my ads. And then every 2 weeks, we're seeing around a 20% growth. So there's a bit of work at the start, but afterwards, it's quite minimal. Just do a little bit at each time. But it was advertising and marketing. That was the big, yeah.
That's a big focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
What impact has that had on like top line revenue
Mm,
from the moment that we started working together in terms of being able to focus, as you say, onto your ads campaign
mm,
rather than just the day-to-day emails? Like, what difference has that made?
mm. Huge. So I should reiterate that I haven't made any changes to our website. I've got all these ideas, and I imagine there's other entrepreneurs out there that will start thinking, oh, I need to add this or add these products, or I need to make our systems better. I didn't make any changes to our website. I think we were doing around 50, 60K consistently. Since working with you and then changing our ads, we've just hit our first 100K month, and we're consistently doing 80, 90K easy, like no problem. So you can see, and just over the matter of what, like 6, 8 weeks, I can't remember how long it is, something like this, like we've just seen a big jump in revenue just from that one task, that one high revenue task. And it changed the perception in my head because I was like, oh, we need to make the website prettier. The fonts don't look great, X, Y, Z. And you create stuff in your head that actually might not be what you need to be doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
people quickly jump to, I should put all that investment into ads campaign, or changing the theme of your Shopify store,
Yeah.
bringing out a new product range. But
Yeah.
for you, it was getting yourself removed from the day-to-day,
Mm-hmm.
having someone take over it, do a better job than you, and then the revenue. Now, not just from a revenue point of view, but what about your actual lifestyle now? How does it look day to day differently compared to when we didn't have VAs on board?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, we're out here filming this today. I don't feel like I need to be sat in front of the laptop all day. It's completely changed, and it changes your mindset on what you need to do. Funnily, we got some new VAs on. Business has been grown so much. We're now at a point where we need more VAs. So I have been a little bit busier the last week than I normally would be, dealing again with some customer stuff, but we're gonna offset that next week and then solve that. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's a capacity thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
we do it the first SOPs, got VAs on board,
Mm,
scaled the business to the point where we now do, like, say, 100K in a month.
mm,
It's now a case of increasing the capacity again. And we can do that by hiring VAs, putting more infrastructure in place to deal with the next load of sales and customers that we're going to bring as we scale.
Yeah.
And we can just keep pushing up and up and up.
100%. 100%. I think we can get to 300-400k a month. Not too far off.
100%. All the signs are there. We've got profitable ad return. But I think the key, and that's why we're working so close together, is as long as we keep your focus as the founder, the driver of the business, on the revenue generating tasks.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that with that focus, you can then create amazing things, keep scaling because you've got your eye on the ball and it's not being taken off by one customer at a time, for example.
Yeah. And it's, you have to get into that mindset, the perception of, well, the customers are important. Of course they are, but they're already with your business, so they're already being looked after. And the amount, do you want the aircon on? Are you getting a bit chilly?
Okay, quick interlude there as we just sorted out the aircon.
Yeah,
not that freezing, but that's off now. Yeah, perfect. But just to go back to where we were back in the warmth again. So now revenue growth is one thing, but another thing is actually headspace, and you're saying you're on the way towards burnout. How different is it now that you've got VAs on board for your headspace?
Great, really good. I still felt a little bit odd at the beginning, when people would call up and want to meet me or go out for lunch with friends or go see a customer. You still feel guilty, but then that disappears when you come back and nothing's gone wrong. Like there's no fires have been gone off, the company's running. Yeah, huge. Like even for like just my personal benefits, like, you know, for how I feel every day, like my mental health and stuff. Like I feel you're not trying to juggle all these plates all the time. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the headspace. Because, like we say, go back to the start of the conversation. It's if autonomy was the main aim, to know how we can spend our time, then you have to take a step back for the sake of your actual goal in the first place. Not just the revenue growth, but actually day to day living. And now we can come and sit in a podcast studio on a Thursday afternoon and not worry about the business failing. Because if a phone call comes in now from a customer, you've got somebody on the other side of the world handling that in a better way than you'd be able to do anyway.
Exactly. And it's little things. Like, I don't know if you find this interesting, but like, for example, today we've come here to do this. I didn't have to get on the train at rush hour. So I could just do a few hours, an hour from home, make sure the team's okay. Get on the train when it's super quiet. I can then work on the train if I like, do a bit of work there. A lot of people obviously do work 9 to 5, and it does create traffic and it creates rush hour on trains and so forth. And to be able to kind of move my hours to step away from that, there's additional benefits here. It's not just about my autonomy, and it's not just about my time. It's the quality of my time has improved because I can go places when it's quiet. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah. No, it's a cheat code when you can start to do things when everyone else is doing something else.
Yeah.
And you come into centre of London as well, and there's a big culture here of working 9 to 5 in the offices. So it's nice to avoid those rush hour mental commute times that I remember you said before you started your work as well, your commute wasn't into central London, but you had a bike ride into a PV hospital that you used to work in.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a commute.
Okay.
I used to get the bus from my house into central Oxford. That took like an hour and a half because you can't park there. It's similar to London. It's probably worse than London, actually. It's very difficult. For the job, I used to have to cycle between the hospitals. So I was kind of like commuting, I guess, between the two of those as well.
Yeah.
So you just see traffic all the time and you get on the bus and sometimes there's a hold up and you spend like 2.5 hours to get home. And I live 15 miles away. And you're just like, I can't do this like every day. Once a week's fine. I don't do this every day. Yeah.
Yeah, the difference it makes now. And that's why you said you still feel a little bit of guilt now when you can just do what you want in the afternoon. Because you probably still have that, but I certainly feel it sometimes. You have that mindset of like almost guilt that you should be doing something else on the Thursday afternoon. You should be sat in an office or waiting in a traffic jam.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone else is doing around you, but it's not going to be compatible with the kind of life that you want to build.
No, it's not. And what I find, this is a really important point to make. Like what I find is when you're working a 9 to 5, there might be a lot of people out there who don't enjoy the job they're doing. So the time you're using up to do it feels stressful because you don't enjoy what you do, and you love the idea. I want to be away on a Thursday, not doing anything. Once you start enjoying what you do, you don't mind it. So like even like today, like say I feel a little bit of guilt, like I could easily just take 2, 3 days off and not do anything. But I like getting involved with the business and it gives me energy. It doesn't sap it away from me. So I like the fact that, we can before this I can sit for an hour and do a bit of work, and it's a different kind of, you've changed your focus onto what you love. It's not just about escaping the 9 to 5, but you're doing what you enjoy.
Yeah. It comes from a place of choice, right? Even if you work as hard, if not harder, it's different when it comes from a place of choice, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what we're all working towards. So,
Exactly.
yeah, awesome. Now, there's a few things I want to cover off with you today. Now, these are fears/objections that people might have
Okay.
pre-hiring
Okay.
or pre-systemizing their business or
Mm.
automating it.
Mm.
A lot of people, we've talked about it being a baby.
Mm.
We've shattered that one already.
Yeah.
We have to care for the baby by having other people look after it sometimes.
Mm.
But another one is that they think they can do it themselves, or they feel like it's just something that is going to take some time, but they can work it out. They can hire a VA, they can put SOPs in place,
Mm.
they can onboard them, they can manage them, and they think, yeah, I can do all this on my own. What
Mm.
would be your advice for those people?
Well, for someone who wants to hire a VA but is hesitant.
Someone that wants to hire a VA, but they
Mm.
think, hiring a VA, simple,
Easy.
easy, and
Yeah.
yeah, or I've got the time. Even if it takes time, I've got the time to do that.
I think it's good. It's positive. Why not do it? I would always argue, do you have a verified system in place to do your hiring? So where are you hiring from? Have you hired before? Like if you had a previous job where you know how to hire, then if you do, yeah, you're probably fine. You know how to conduct interviews and so forth. Obviously we mentioned before we hire quite a lot from the Philippines and they have a different culture. So I can talk about that like in depth in a bit. But yeah, so if you're hesitant to hire, go for it. If you want to do it yourself, it's fine. But I've been in a position before where I've done my own hiring and I've made bad decisions. And this was partly like my gut was telling me they're the wrong person, but my head was like, they'd be great. And then they were the wrong person. Do you want to go through the stress and the heartache of that? I would just find some sort of verified system. And then if it doesn't work, make sure you have an exit strategy in place on how to, we shouldn't use the word fire, but how you let someone go from the company because they're not the best fit.
Yeah.
You need to kind of have all the processes in place so it's less stress for you.
Yeah, because you went through that, and that ordeal for you to hire the wrong person. I mean, because a lot of people will do that. I spoke to Jared today as well. He hired somebody himself. He had some previous experience, but also had difficult experiences previously.
Yeah.
With VAs.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the negative impact of hiring incorrectly initially?
Oh, it was awful because one, you're having to like do their work, which is what you hired them for. Then you have to kind of check up on them if they're doing that work. And it's just the overall stress. You don't trust them. So you're just bound to working again in the company, which is fine. But you don't trust them to do the job. And then the biggest negative impact is, could they do something wrong to a customer, to give you a couple bad reviews, to do something really negative to affect you later on? It can be downstream effects, but nothing can't be fixed. That's a really important point to make. But
yeah, no, but it's reputational damage, isn't it? If you get it wrong, that you mentioned, they can do a few things out of turn, bad reviews, and it can negatively impact the view of the business in the future. Also, I find if you hired wrong, which I spoke to people that have in the past, and it actually ends up costing you more time than the time you wanted to save. Because you end up, if they're the wrong type of fit, then you've actually got to answer all their questions and fix the issues that they've created, and so it can actually be less time that you save by doing that if you hire wrong.
And you have to train them, so there's that loss of time, and that's annoying. But sometimes you have to just be okay with it. But yeah, like you have to train them and then they're the wrong fit. And what you really want to do is train someone who can then train other people. That's like the golden rule I would go for. And you can still be around to help and do other bits, but train someone who you think would be good to train others. And then you've really offset that task of hiring. And then it's a so much easier situation.
Yeah.
And they'll feel more connected as a team as well. If they have someone in the team train them, they'll have a better relationship and a nice work environment than if I've just been trained by Adam for like 2 months and then just jumps in with everyone. I think it works a bit better.
100%. Yeah. So my first virtual assistant I hired, they were initially taught by me initially because I had to
Okay.
get them on board,
Yeah.
the SOPs,
Mm.
get them up to speed. But then once I had put the effort and time into getting them up to speed, they then hired the next VA.
Mm.
And if I hire again, we'll go on to hire the next VA,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So there's an initial lift, but after that, the beautiful thing is that the first VA trains a second, trains a third, trains a fourth.
Yes.
And something that we've done together is my virtual assistants
Mm.
are in a WhatsApp group with your virtual assistants.
Yep.
And that gives them that more of a sense of having people around them,
Yep.
and they can help with the training and also the Filipino culture, which can be different to us.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to talk
Mm.
about. So,
Mm.
hiring from the Philippines, what have you noticed about people working with people that are based in the Philippines?
Mostly it's all really positive.
Mm.
I gotta say, like, really energetic, fun, happy people in general. I'm generalizing, but as a culture, really great people, really want to work hard, constantly messaging me like, oh, like I didn't get a chance to do this today. Can I please stay on and finish it? Like, of course you can, don't need to ask. Like, they just really want to help. I've met some very intelligent VAs, like Ecom experience. They've got, C2 English. Their English is like perfect. It just sounds a little bit American. They know about ecom businesses. They know about customer service. Yeah, just the whole energy and vibe is really professional, really fun. And I don't think I've very rarely heard a Filipino complain.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
their nature.
no.
No, very non-confrontational.
Mm,
Which sometimes we actually want to bring that out of them a little bit
yeah,
because sometimes you just need the transparency and tell us if something's not right. But
yeah.
they're just so positive, cheerful, enthusiastic people to work with.
Mm,
I find them just an absolute pleasure. They turn up in it with the right attitude, the right energy. They want to do the right thing every day,
mm-hmm.
and they will do everything in their power to look after the business, and they almost take it on as their own. They
Yeah.
see the business, they want to think, right, I want to build this business as much as I can.
Mm.
And it is exactly the type of attitude that you want to get in the
100%.
business.
Yeah. And they don't get put off.
Mm.
Like, there's like, you had a crap day and got loads of stuff to, they've just gone wrong. We've had a few customers that are unhappy. It's just miscommunication between, we work with lots of teams now.
Yeah.
It happens. And sometimes you have to kind of highlight the negatives and just show how we can do it. They just go, they bothers them, but they carry on working. There's no like, oh, I need to take like an hour off because, and process it all. They just carry on. And that mindset of like not feeling worried to be able to show them like, look, we did this wrong. This isn't correct. We do need to improve this. How can I support you? And they're like, yeah, straight on the call, having a chat, again, live chat, doing some bits, working out straight away. They always want to learn and improve.
100%. I find that
Yeah.
as well. And they come on with the right attitude to learn and improve.
Yeah.
And also, I was doing interviews yesterday, so
Mm.
part of the role is to bring people on board. So doing hiring quite frequently now. And I asked them a question yesterday, and I asked them all the same question, and I get a feel for all their answers.
Mm.
And I asked them about, what would you do in difficult situation with difficult customers, and
Yeah.
every single one of them, they always just smile because they're so used to difficult customer situations. They just know it's part and parcel
Yeah.
of customer service. And so it's
Yeah.
an absolute blessing for us to know that when we bring somebody on board, they actually thrive and almost smile and have a real positive outlook on dealing with difficult customers and winning them
Mhm.
round. And that's music to my ears when somebody has got a very positive experience of that, because it's not certainly not the side of business that I thrive in. But if they can take that off you and do a better job,
Mm.
then the benefit for you as a founder, the headspace is massive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a real deep benefit here. Like, there's a deepness to it's the fact that we're different cultures. So I think in general, like in England and maybe in the Western world and stuff, we can be a little bit more pickier. We have maybe higher expectations in some sense, because we're used to be able to like have certain things. You go to the Philippines, like if people's deliveries go missing, they don't really complain. Like, I talk to my VAs about this. They go, "Oh no, we just like accept it," which is kind of like a wrong attitude because you're kind of like you're losing money. But that attitude, I think, works really well with like Western cultures and businesses because they don't get upset by people being upset, which is what you want.
Mm.
Worst thing you want is when you're upset at someone else crying or arguing down the phone at you. You want someone who's really calm. Like, I'm so sorry. Let me fix it.
Yeah,
That's it. So you,
yeah, I agree. I think it's
yeah,
the cross pollination, if you like, of the cultures working
yeah,
together and playing to your strengths.
yeah,
So maybe in the West, maybe it's an
mm,
interesting conversation, but
mm,
we're able to take sort of step back. I think we do a great job of looking at the strategy, the systems, the top level point of view. Maybe we don't
mm,
have the same empathy or, you know, time and patience with people necessary for on the customer service side. And
Mm.
obviously we're skewed here because we're deliberately picking these people that work with us to be good at the customer service side of things.
True.
But playing to our strengths and knowing that you've got somebody whose bread and butter is caring for customers, following repeatable processes.
Yeah.
And our bread and butter is to like look at how can we keep moving this thing.
Yeah.
It's a lovely combination.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And long may that continue. So where we're at now, right? We've got 2 VAs full time
Mm-hmm.
in place,
Mm-hmm.
and onwards and upwards, right? Because we've got a position where the business is generating income. The more we put into ad spend, the more profit that's coming out at the back of it each month. And so we're just thinking, right, how much can we just increase the capacity to keep increasing the ad spend?
Yeah.
So what is your vision then for this business as we grow forward?
My vision for this business in the future is I would like to have about 5 VAs. I think it's what we need. It's quite an involved niche. It does take a lot of work. We have to, there's technical issues and problems we would deal with like machinery, for example, like laptops and stuff. And people always have tons of questions because they're passionate. So 5 VAs would be amazing just to manage customer service, like our stock levels, like product uploads and then improvements. So just say Apple, Mac, bring out a new version. I need someone to go on and update the versions. There's all these little tasks. I don't see why we can't hit 350, 400K a month. We've got about 72 brands on board now, which is huge, like huge. I want to be one of, if not the biggest one of this business in the UK. I think we could get there. We're already doing very well. The fact we have some fake reviews sometimes from competitors shows that we're obviously making a mark. We're being noticed in some ways.
It's a sign of success. Yeah.
It is. It's sad that people feel they need to do that because we're not doing anything wrong. We're very nice people. But, but yeah, overall, I don't see why we can't expand into Europe, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, and just be one giant like mesh. And then if people from the Netherlands need a product, but we've only got it in England, we can ship it over. There'll be delays and so forth, but we can then start supplying people whatever they need and turn into a really big company.
Yeah. And what role do you think infrastructure is going to play and capacity is going to play in the scaling of that business?
Do you mean when you say infrastructure, do you mean like our company's infrastructure?
Yeah, like people as well as processes, systems. What role will that play as you scale?
It's huge. Like I think there's different points in setting up a business, and you don't really need to worry about this when you get going. You just need to make a few sales and see what you can scale. But now we're getting to a point where we're getting bigger. Infrastructure's massive. Like people expect a certain level of professionalism. So we have to uphold that. We can't just go, oh, let's just try that and see what happens. Yeah, it's really key. We need the processes so less mistakes happen because we'll serve more customers. So the less mistakes, the less issues. Whereas if you're doing 5% mistakes now, you start doing 1,000 customers a month, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you get loads of negative reviews and more. It's hard to get positive reviews sometimes. People are more hesitant. They love to complain. It's just normal. So we all do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But infrastructure I think it's going to be everything. It's like
Yeah.
we've got the acquisition isn't the issue now. We've got a profitable acquisition channel.
Yeah.
It's in Google Ads. It's getting traffic to the website. We found it to me. Really the bottleneck for the business is now not acquisition, which it is for like the first 0 to 10K. It's getting the sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond that now, we can go so much quicker. Like we have done from 10 to 100K, from 100K to 300K a month.
Yeah.
The bottleneck for that is not the acquisition channel because we can keep increasing the budget on that. The bottleneck now is having the right systems in place that can deal with a business of that size. 300K a month, it's like 3-4 million a year.
Yes.
To have a business of that size, it needs to have nail processes just to handle the extra customers, the extra orders that we're going to throw into that business. So just see it's huge, and it's exciting as well to build out a business of that scale.
It is, mate. It is exciting to have that vision, and once you know it's possible, yeah, it's amazing. But like you're right, we're at capacity now. We've got 2 VAs, we're at capacity. Like we get some days where I do emails in the evening, so we're trying to catch up. And that's why we've been having this chat. I said I think I need at least 2 more people now, like minimum, to create that professionalism. It's really important because a lot of our customers will be repeat customers. They'll come back in a year and buy another product. They'll buy like one large product a year. if they set up new businesses themselves. So we're serving business owners.
Yes.
So their expectations are going to be high, and they should be, because they're trying to serve their customers. So yeah, it's really important. Yeah, it's really important.
It's huge. I think it's the biggest bottleneck to keep growing is having that
Yeah.
capacity to grow it. So
Mm.
people, I want to touch on this, is that when they think about hiring VAs or outsourcing their business or even automating it with AI,
Mm.
and they're a type A person, so that means they're very active, they're very hardworking, they quite enjoy working on their business. I can see this in you a lot.
Yeah.
Some of those types of people will then equate not working as hard and outsourcing parts of their business with almost like a guilt, almost like it feels like it's a lazy
Mm.
way to run the business.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those people who are hesitant to hire and outsource because they think it's like almost a lazy way out?
Mm. I would say, like, what kind of, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but what kind of risk do you want to run? Like, what if you got sick? Everything you've worked for, I don't know how long it's taken someone to get to where they are, where they might be. Like, it's taken me like, what, a year and a half to kind of get to this point where we're doing really well, quit my other job, etc. What if I got sick and the business just, there's no one there? It'd all be for nothing.
Mm.
Do you want to take that risk? And it's the same with why I set up a business in the first place. Do you want to risk life by just working for someone who could fire you the next day? You just never know. You could be fired on the spot and be told to leave that day by anyone. I'm not saying that would happen, but like, do you know what I mean? To me, it's risky.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, again, it's that risk reward scenario. We should be working on low risk as possible to improve your life, improve the life of people around you. And like you say, like you want to work really hard, but do you have a family? What are you working for? Do you want to spend Christmas with your family? Why don't we go away for 2 weeks? We go get a lodge somewhere like Norway, somewhere beautiful. You don't need to worry about anything, and you can look after the people you're doing it for.
Exactly.
It's really
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
You just need to kind of frame it in their language, which is,
Yeah.
if you're type A, you want to be a high achiever. In
Mm.
order to be a high achiever,
Yeah.
at some point in the business, you have to release the reins and get people on board and embrace help from outside sources so that you can grow. And it's not taking a step back in terms of working really hard.
Yeah.
It's what you're working on. So
Yes.
there's a very big difference in working really hard, answering customer emails for 8 hours a day, and working really hard and working for 8 hours a day on a new acquisition channel, yeah, or a new product range.
Yes.
So different results.
100%. Yeah. And I'd always say, it's like, what are you looking for? Like, do you want to be a sole trader, or do you want to be like a business owner? Because if you're just working in the business, you're kind of like, you're like a professional. You're working as a sole trader in a company. Nothing wrong with that. It's amazing. It just depends on what you want. Do you want to be an owner? But people say, "Oh, I love being busy and working hard." There's a million things you could do nowadays. Like, you could always be busy if you wanted to. We've got podcasts like this. We've got YouTube. There's so many things you could learn. So if you offset this and you end up doing 5 hours a week on this company, set up another one then. Like, or learn to trade, or like, I don't know, if you want to do real estate or something. There's always something you could be doing to keep busy. And in that way, it'll keep you interested because you're learning something new. Like at school, they teach you maths, biology, chemistry, PE stuff, like random topics. Like, it helps inspire, keep you interested.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. So ever since I've started running my business, for me, I knew that I had to outsource so that I could grow myself. And that's just not growth in a business sense, but also grow myself personally, able to dedicate more time to traveling. Right? I've been doing a lot of traveling this year,
Yeah.
and that's been huge as a source of personal development,
Mm.
which again is only possible because I was able to offset the day-to-day tasks of not answering customer emails one by one. So I think traveling is something that you want to dive into from a self-development point of view, but also just from an enjoyment point of view, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I have a question for you. Do you enjoy the traveling?
Oh, mate, it's brilliant.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt that from the heart. Like, oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is fantastic. Yeah. So having the online income that allows you to travel,
Yeah.
and also being able to outsource and systemize a business, for me, that was the key, because then I can go into different time zones. So if in Southeast Asia, 7 hours ahead of the UK, it's not essential that I'm always on through these hours, and we certainly don't need to take customer calls in the middle of the night because it's all run for me.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest thing with traveling, as well as, of course, seeing different places, exploring and seeing the world, big one for me is actually having the ability to learn from different cultures and see how people live on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And I've learned more about my life and the UK by
Mm.
leaving the UK and seeing how other people live. And it's just an accelerator. As well as entrepreneurship, leaving your hometown and leaving the country is also another accelerator for personal development. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. I can't remember who I read this somewhere. There's a book I read a long, long time ago, but they always say like one of the key factors of success is like 3 things you should do. You should step outside your comfort zone. You should move to a new city, and then you should like work hard to get a partner or something. They're like the 3 key things that you see in successful people in general. When people move away and they go traveling, you don't have all those. You might have some burdens at home. You might have some stresses or like some old habits. It just completely changes that, your external environment. Once you change your external environment, you see how other people live and you just feel more motivated. I do more work when I come out of the office and I come work somewhere like here, or I to go in a cafe. You end up getting more work done because you just feel free.
Yeah. And
Whatever.
you're surrounded by, whatever you choose to be surrounded by. So
Exactly.
I love when I come to London, where we are now. I love traveling. I love walking around the streets of West London,
Yeah.
Chelsea, Kensington.
Yeah.
I think just being surrounded by those kind of affluent areas, you turn up in a completely different way when you're surrounded by that.
Yeah.
You're equivalent to that. You live near Oxford. Maybe you can go around the streets of certain parts of Oxford. You saying that gives you kind of same inspiration?
It does in some sense, yeah. It's a very you do see that. It's not so much, it's more of a tourist uni town. And you don't see so much of like, you see a lot more like surgeons and doctors and students, and like that energy is really nice because they're people that are really hard working, they want to learn. There's a lot of like intelligence around there, and it is inspiring. We were having this chat earlier, weren't we, about like you assume the 9 to 5 is what you should be doing because you assume everyone else is doing it, but we come out today like midday, tons of people around, and like a good portion of them aren't tourists. They're people that live here, they run their own businesses, they kind of come and go as they please, and they work. And the world isn't always what you just see. That's why that travel is really important, because you get to see actually you can live it in any way you want.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it just opens up your mind to what's possible.
Mm.
I think
Mm.
if you stay in your hometown, you then have a very much a narrow idea of what opportunities there are for your life, because that's all you see around you.
Yeah.
And okay, great if that is what you want for your life, but I always had something inside me that I wanted to see what else was possible. Like, what kind of life can I live? I feel like I'm strongly driven by the fact that we've got one chance, I believe.
Yeah.
And getting out there, you see different ways of viewing. So, and also you see different people on the different scales of the socioeconomic scale. You've got people that are in Southeast Asia, there's obviously there's a very much lower, cost of living, which means people live a very different life and have nowhere near the same luxuries that we do, that we take for granted. See that. And then you see people that are on the other end of the scale, especially in Bali, entrepreneurs doing millions a month and living in incredible villas. And that does the opposite, in that it shows you what's possible when you do the right things.
Yeah.
And getting around that, it just makes you see the world differently. And what you thought was a previous limit to what you could achieve, suddenly blown out of the water, and what's actually possible that some people are achieving out there.
Exactly. You just weren't exposed to it. That's all. Once you get that exposure, you go, oh, actually. And then, there's that part of the brain that can go, oh, I bet like, they got rich parents or blah, blah. Some people like might create some negatives, but a lot of people you find that they've just worked really hard and they just pointed their energy in a direction. Like I was watching a program on Thailand the other night, and they've got like big, and I think it's Phuket or Phuket, I think it's pronounced. I might be saying it wrong.
Phuket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Because I know you've been, haven't you?
Not quite.
Okay.
But I walked into a travel agent.
Okay, that's a good step. Yeah, same
I've
thing.
worked it out. I've seen it on the brochure. I've basically been, but
He held up a sign.
I asked the travel agent, "Can we go to fuck it?" Because I thought, you spit out your drink there. The way that it was spelt, and then they quickly told me that actually I was mispronouncing it. But no, Phuket, I haven't been. But from what I hear, beautiful part of the world. But you watched the program on that yesterday. I've distracted you off your point. You were making.
Yeah, that's funny though. Did you actually say that?
I did. It was kind of tongue in cheek because I sort of probably knew
Yeah.
that it probably wasn't going to be that. but I wanted to put them to the
So
sword.
this is my opportunity to say it in a travel agent
Yeah.
before I get corrected. Yeah, I'm like, can we go off the fuck it? He's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was kind of an attitude that some people take before traveling,
Yeah.
but not a
True.
destination necessarily. But
No.
yeah, but Phuket, yeah, some incredible places out there.
Mm,
And yeah, just travel for anyone that has that. A lot of people have that as their goal when they run a business.
mm,
Some people do it because they want to escape from a certain country, but for me, I just
yeah.
wanted to do it to grow, and to see what's possible.
See the world. Yeah. No, like it's amazing. Like it's really good that you get to travel. I think more people should be able to do that. And to go on with the point about Phuket
Mm.
is, but it was like real estate program, and they were talking about Thailand and other countries, but there's like villas there that are like 20, 40, 50 million dollars. And in a country like Thailand, which I guess some people might perceive it as has poorer areas, it's a lot vast sum of money.
Mm.
And it just shows you like people with money just travel around the world. And they were saying like, yeah, a lot of these villas they probably use like 1 month a year. People
Mm.
buy them and they just don't use it. And it just goes to show like you don't have to reach that scale where you're making 250 million a year to the point you can buy a 30 million pound villa and not care. But it just shows you're only limited by what your belief system is.
Mm.
And once you really understand that, your whole world changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it always comes back to that.
yeah.
Whenever I'm about to make a big decision in my business, or
Mm,
whenever I feel like I'm not in a position where I want to be at my business and I've seen the next level,
mm,
what stopped me from getting there is inevitably it always comes down to my own belief system and
mm,
something in my own mindset that's stopping me from getting there. On belief in myself is a big one.
mm.
But yeah, once you can overcome that, then you can achieve anything. But that's from a woo-woo side of things. But in terms of the actual tangible side of things, for us, it's come from
Yeah.
a place of having the VAs, having the systems in place that allowed us to then scale to the point where we want to build it. So
100%.
awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Adam. As we wrap up today, then, is there
Mm.
anything that you feel like we haven't covered today? Any questions that you want to have answered around the businesses that we're building, or any stage of life that you thought would be an interesting topic to cover?
Um, Good question, mate. I know we've covered quite a lot. I've probably forgotten by now.
Yeah.
No, honestly, there's nothing on my mind at the moment. We have covered quite a bit. I think for anyone who does like watch this and see it, I think, I'm not trying to say I make tons of money or anything yet, but I do have time autonomy. But like, I think what's keen for a lot of people, and we had this chat like before about sometimes you can see when things get difficult. I've noticed other entrepreneurs, they kind of, well, I'll just try something new. I'll try something else. And you really like, my belief is really just to double down on what you're doing and just turn that into something that's really profitable. I know that's what you've done. And then your time is open and then you can diversify. And I think all the kind of great investors and the business owners, and you can look at the Bezoses and all that, and they've all kind of followed that pattern. Do one thing, do it really well for quite a long time. Once it's making loads of revenue for you, you can then offset it and you can divert and you can do other things. So try not to get distracted. Just focus. Yeah.
Big one. It's a
Yeah.
big one. It's the naive entrepreneur that wants to go after every opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest thing is initially
Mm.
getting that acquisition nailed
Mm.
and finding a market that wants to buy what you're selling. You find a problem that you can solve for people. As soon as you've nailed that, then it's so easy to try and think I've got that and now I can go somewhere else. But the biggest opportunity is in going from 10 to 100k.
Yeah.
Once you've got the first 0 to 10k.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and don't get distracted. Realize that you put infrastructure in place so you can run it yourself. And then if you get that entrepreneurial ADHD, like you want a new challenge,
Yeah.
you can do that once your business is taken care of. 'Cause
Yeah.
the VA in board and that all outsourced.
Yeah. It was the biggest learning thing for me. Just focusing my time. Just like, no, because sometimes you think of other stuff and you have to just, you can feel uncomfortable. You have to just lock in to one thing, make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Laser focus.
Yeah.
Awesome. So on that note, and
Mhm.
maybe just to finish up, Adam, if you
Mhm.
were speaking to somebody today, they wanted to scale their business, but they didn't know what could be the biggest lever that they could pull to scale their business, what would be the final note you'd leave people on?
Biggest lever to scale your business. It's difficult. Depends on what they're in, business that they're in. I think overall, if you can leverage your time back, so you can hire someone in to do your job, you will realize the high value tasks you can tackle are quite vast. You just can't see them because you're busy. Once I offset my time, I've realized, oh, we could do subscriptions. We could do, we can advertise more on Instagram. We can do X, Y, Z. And they're off your radar because you're busy. So I think try and leverage your time, try and leverage your tasks, get other people in, hiring skills. There'll be someone there that can do it better than you. There's people that can do stuff better than me, and just hire them in. So that, yeah, that's the biggest lever.
Also, on that note, I think it's a good way to end. So,
Mm.
pleasure. Thanks for watching today. If you're interested in the work that we've been doing, then check out the resources in the description. I think you'll find them helpful. As I'm keen to help you out if you've got a business, specifically e-commerce business, and you want to take a step back from the day-to-day running of the business and scale from that position, and you can replicate what we've done here with Adam. So with that said, thanks for watching today, and we'll catch you in the next video.